Yo, this is the dealer himself, I-20, chilling with my homeboy Mikey T, the movie star. You are now live on Report Card Radio.
From there, I want to take it to Ludacris actually bringing everything over to Def Jam. Tell me about Luda taking everyone over to Def Jam.
Yeah, so Def Jam was looking to expound and essentially get territorial, have a whole Def Jam West Coast, Def Jam South. So they hired Scarface to be the president of Def Jam South. We had attempted to get signed to Rap-A-Lot a few years before when we did that song Catch Up, and it was on a compilation that Jay Prince put out. Once Scarface got that connection, we reconnected with him. He referenced us as a good group to kind of be the flagship group, and Def Jam South ended up being the first acts ended up being Ludacris, Disturbing the Peace, and Young Jeezy. And we ended up doing so well that they didn't sign anybody else. So Def Jam South just ended up being Disturbing the Peace.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, man. A lot of people, there was a lot of discussion right there. Is it Def Jam South? No, it's Disturbing the Peace. So 20, can you tell me, going from what Disturbing the Peace was to them becoming a part of Def Jam, what did that do for that indie label?
A lot, money rules, and being able to have money behind you instead of taking money out your pocket, spending the money that you have, trying to do whatever it is you can. We were able to have marketing. We were able to touch a lot more markets. We were able to go on the road. We were able to shoot videos. We were just able to extend our reach. See, keep in mind, this is 2001. So people aren't using YouTube. And, now you don't even really need a label. You can record something in the house and get 1 million streams just posting it online. But at this time, you really had to do the footwork. You really had to get out to radio stations. You really had to, it was difficult to kind of transition past your territory. And Def Jam South allowed us to be connected in cities where we were not going to be able to simply just drive up there and hand our CD out. And that's what Def Jam South really allowed us to do, is really get us the type of exposure to get more eyes and more ears on what it is we were doing.
So you had mentioned Shaka. Was he very instrumental in the foundation of Disturbing the Peace, of it growing to a corporation?
Definitely. He was our manager. He was our first manager. He had been with us since the 90s. He worked at the radio station, just like Luda worked at the radio station, and had always been helpful, helped us record our demos, helped us give us directions for demos, helped shop our demos. So he's always been there.
So your record First and 10 with Luda was actually placed on his major label debut, back for the first time. You were still labeled as Infamous 2-0 at this point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When did you decide to do the name change? Excuse me.
Yeah, that's a good question. Infamous 2-0. My nickname is 20. That's been a nickname of mine since I was young, and I got that nickname because of my voice as a joke about sounding older than I actually am. And so Infamous 2-0, when I first started really getting into MCing, that was kind of the thing, was to have your name and then like a distinction before your name, the Notorious B.I.G. Like that was like the thing at that time. And so I was the Infamous 2-0. But as we started putting more and more music out and started getting more and more notoriety and starting to get more and more noticed, I really noticed that Atlanta was making a lot of noise for itself. People were really paying attention to Atlanta, really listening to Atlanta music, but everybody was from the South Side or from the West Side. Everybody was from College Park. Everybody was from Bankhead. I wasn't from any of those places. I was from Decatur on the East Side. And at that time, there wasn't a lot of artists who had at least big commercial success from the East Side. And so I changed it to I-20 to represent the I-20 East Highway that runs through Decatur, Georgia.
When did you actually figure out from there that you were going to be getting your own album?
It was just one of those type of things where it was always talked about me or Shauna being next. That we were just who the labels were gravitating towards. When we, as Luda started becoming more and more popular and people started to hear more and more of his songs and started to do a deep dive into his label, that's just how it worked out, that people were showing the most interest in me and Shauna. And so I knew at that time I would have a debut, but I always figured I would have a debut album.